Hey guys, hey, this is Nay. Follow me on IG, Twitter, and Periscope, and Nay Rob on YouTube. Now, let's talk Real Housewives. Okay, guys, this morning, Bravo Andy, Andy Cohen, was on the Breakfast Club this morning. And I'm gonna put the link to the video in the description bar as usual. I just like for people to just refer back to some of the things that I say. But at any rate, I found it quite interesting because Bravo Andy exposed a lot of things that I'm like, okay, makes perfect sense now when you think about it. And I just want to put some things out there that I know so many of us was thinking about in the back of our head, but then, he politically correctly, without saying it, but saying some things about the Real Housewives. Okay. Bravo Andy showed up looking like he just woke up from a bender, okay? His hair was all over the place. I mean, literally, he looked like, somebody just pulled him out the car and was like, here you go, Breakfast Club, here you go, do something with him. And he looked like he was spitting all over the place. Like, he looked a mess. I don't know. I don't watch what happens live regularly, but y'all tell me if he regularly sounds like he's spitting all over the place, because I was like, geez, that daggone microphone is catching heck right now. Oh my goodness. But he looked a mess in that place, y'all. I was like, Bravo Andy, come on. This ain't the Bravo Andy I know, because Bravo Andy stay, looking fresh. By the way, he is an air sign. Bravo Andy is June 2nd, 1968. So he's a Gemini, the sexy psychopath, which I can see. Y'all know how I feel about them Geminis. Our president is a Gemini. Us air signs, I feel sorry for you. I feel sorry for you. But the next thing I want to talk about is how they touched on NeNe. Now, what I thought was very, very specific about this was that you can tell that it was certain questions that he said do not ask flat out, because they did not approach NeNe leaving the Real Housewives at all. And I was like, why wouldn't they ask that question? Because everybody wants to know what's the tea behind NeNe choosing not to come back, not even for appearances. But Bravo Andy basically, was like, look, don't talk about it. I'm not talking about it. You don't talk about it. But what they did talk about with NeNe, which should be brought to light, is that, was it Charlamagne? I forget which one, but they was like, is it true that NeNe is the highest paid Real Housewife in the franchise? And I thought it. I'm pretty sure all of us thought it. I don't know why we thought that, because he was like, no. I mean, they all, it's a couple of them that are out there that have made it big. I don't know why we didn't think about what's the lady name? Vanderpump. I don't know why we didn't think about Bethany. I don't know why we didn't think about Teresa. Now, I'm going to be honest. I don't watch all of the entire franchise. I pretty much just watch the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Pretty much when you sit back and think, yeah, Bethany is huge. Remember, she had her talk show just for that little moment, but she did. And Teresa, she went to jail for a minute, but she was caked up. Matter of fact, Bravo Andy lives next door to Teresa. So, and Vanderpump, they are caked up. And then he's also said Kandi. Like, why wouldn't nobody think that Kandi would be the highest paid? I don't know. I don't know why. Maybe because we think that NeNe's like the most seen, I guess. But think about it, guys. When you look at it, no, NeNe was not the highest paid. I don't know where that came from, but we all thought that. But I was glad that he dispelled the rumor, but he did. I mean, when he talked about Kandi, he almost got choked up. Like, that daggone Kandi got guap. We all know that. That's why I'm like, I don't know why they would think that about NeNe. And speaking of Kandi, Kandi don't never brag on her bread. Never, never, never. It was NeNe who brags on her bread, and you see what happened, right? The boogeyman came for her. You know, Kandi be around there wearing her whole outfit be $60, and you know. If any of you guys are interested in recaps for the other Real Housewives, my YouTube sister Mika Chanel just saying, I'm going to put her link in the description bar also, because she does recaps all the time. She's very funny, guys. So when you get a chance, go over to her channel. The next thing I'm going to talk about is stunting in Atlanta. And I spoke about this previously. So what he said was, without saying, what he said was basically you can't stunt in places like California and New York because of the housing market. But in Atlanta, because you can buy such grand properties for affordable amounts, it appears like they're living a more lavish life, pretty much. And I would agree to that. He was politically correct when he said it. Of course, he doesn't want to step on nobody's toes. I was watching T.S. Madison, and you know, she found offense to someone saying, of course she can live lavish because she's living in Atlanta. And pretty much T.S. Madison was like, well, if I'm living so lavish, so cheaply, why are you living in poverty where you are? Makes good sense. It's just, I mean, who haven't thought about moving to Atlanta to be able to buy a lavish home? But from what I understand, it's not many jobs out there. Their salary income is like very low. So I wouldn't want to move out there. They talked about also in Atlanta. They talked about do the women of the Real Housewives get advances? And he pretty much was like, they get paid. And then he was like, well, do you advance them money? He was like, no, they get paid at a specific time. And the way it looked like they get paid right before the reunions, because that's when Atlanta tend to look their best, if you ask me. Look like they get right before the union, because it's like, if y'all know, or if y'all pay attention, especially with Atlanta, excuse me, guys, especially with Atlanta, them girls be looking a hot friggin' mess season 1. Or not season 1, but their first season. Then by the time their second season come, you be like, oh, they must have got their check. So same thing with Cynthia, because if y'all remember, you know, everybody like, oh, Cynthia this, Cynthia that. Yeah, Cynthia be rocking them now in them daggone confessionals. I said she be looking like a daggone mean old lion with all that eye brightener up under her eye and all them fillers making her look like, you know, that's not fake. She done got some work done on that face. But she's still a mother sucker. She's still a bad mother sucker. But don't forget, Cynthia was a hot mess season 1, or her first season on there, y'all. She was a mess. So the next thing we want to get into is the husbands. He confirmed that the husbands did not get paid. So that rumor that Peter would be back on would only come back on if Bravo would pay him was false, because Andy was like, no, we're paying for the wives, we're not paying for the husbands. So maybe that, you know, backfired, because, you know, Peter was trying to get him a old dime, you know, if I'm gonna be on here and be humiliated and everything, y'all gonna have to pay me, because y'all done made my wife leave me, you know, or whatever. But okay, and then let me say this, y'all, this is a little bit of tea that I don't know if I spilled it before, but basically, remember when NeNe divorced Greg? From what I understand, the rumor is that Bravo paid NeNe to divorce Greg in front of the cameras. And supposedly, the reason why she divorced him was because, you know, he had some bankruptcy issues that she didn't want to be tied to in the wedding, or she didn't want to be tied to in their marriage. So, and then that's why she, remarried him. And I was just wondering, do y'all think that this is the same thing that happened with NeNe? Do you think that Bravo is paying Cynthia to divorce Peter? You know, I don't know, because all these things could be private, but Chateau Sheree, he said it is a massive, huge house. She paid for it with all her money. He took a little dig and said it was 6 years. Andy, why you got to keep putting up the years? Sheree say 4. The show said 5. Now you here on this show drunk or in high as booty coo. By the way, he said he's an avid pot smoker. But high as booty coo, talking about that it took her 6 years to build the house. You ain't shiz, Bravo, Andy. You ain't shiz. So then he spoke about how he started at CBS. He's been in, I think he said he's been in television for 26 years, something like that. And then he progressed to Bravo. But this is what I found was kind of alarming to me. He said that he admitted that basically he got Watch What Happens Live when it used to come on at 12 o'clock. I could never watch it because it was too late. Y'all, I'd be asleep. I'm an old lady. I'd be asleep by like 9:30, 10. But he said that he was basically sending gossip emails to his supervisor. And his supervisor was like, you need to start a blog, which progressed into Watch What Happened Live. So the next thing I want to talk about is they said that is there any ass kissing on the Real Housewives? And he was like, yeah, it's ass kissing. I kiss their ass. They kiss my ass. It's just the name of the game, which I can believe. Because you know that there were times where Bravo Andy basically, you could tell whose ass he was kissing at the time. And they asked him who was your favorite. And they asked him who was your favorite housewife. He turned it into which one was your favorite housewives show. And he said his favorite was Atlanta and New York. So you can tell who his favorite one is. Like I would assume now that it was Kandi, because when he spoke about Kandi, he basically like lit up when he talked about Kandi and her, her following and her success. So I think now on the Real Housewives of Atlanta, it is now Kandi. And Kandi, beware. You a Taurus and everything. So, you're a strong person and you will bust a head open, but beware with Bravo Andy, because sometimes what happens is you, as quickly as you on the top of the list, you can absolutely be on the bottom of the list. Okay. You see what happened to NeNe. So finally, he confirmed that the Real Housewives of Potomac is coming back. Now, this is what I have a problem with. Why were they so shocked about the Real Housewives of Potomac being a part of the franchise? I don't get that. Like them women up there, if anybody got guap, those ladies do. And let me say something here in this area right here, like the DMV, basically that's where all the doctors live, all the lawyers live. If you are an established professional career-wise and you're making a nice piece of change, you live there. Regular people don't live in Potomac at all. So for them to make it seem like Potomac, yeah, babe, Potomac is a big deal here. Trust me. The same people you meet on the way up are the same people you meet on the way down. YouTubers, let's be good to each other.